This is Newsline 9 Sports.
We've got some NFC North action on this Turkey Day. The division-leading Minnesota Vikings at the Lions today. Packers trailing both teams in the North. Huge drive for the Vikings to start their day offensively. 14 plays, 80 yards. Second and goal. Case Keenum play action. Finds Kyle Rudolph in the back of the end zone for the easy touchdown to cap this drive. Vikes lead 6-0 after a missed field goal. First and goal. Keenum on the option. He goes with the QB keeper right through the gap and runs it 9 yards for the TD. That's a little Thanksgiving Day celebration for you. Minnesota leads 13-3 after a Lions field goal. Keenum under heavy pressure but hangs in the pocket and responds with this perfect pass to Rudolph for another score. But how about this from Detroit before halftime? Matthew Stafford hits Marvin Jones Jr. for the 6-yard TD right at the goal line. Lions trail 20-10. Vikings respond early in the third. Keenum with the handoff to Latavius Murray stands his ground and gets to the goal line. Minnesota up 27-10. After a few field goals, Detroit trails 27-16. Stafford lobs the pass to Jones, 43 yards for the touchdown. Stafford gets banged up on the play, but cuts the lead to get within 4. Vikes hang in, though, and finish with the 30-23 win. Minnesota takes a huge step towards winning the NFC North with a 3-game lead over the second-place Lions.
I like this football team. They're a bunch of fighters. They compete. You know, things go bad, they don't panic. We almost panicked a couple times today, but we settled down and we got back to it. So anyway, it was a good game, and I'm glad that we won.
We have a lot in common with Brett Hundley this week, a lot on our plates. For us, it's mostly turkey and stuffing, but Hundley has the hopes and dreams of Packers fans on his plate. On Sunday, Hundley must stay cool under pressure against a Steelers defense that is stellar against the pass, ranked 3rd in the league. Since Aaron Rodgers' injury, Jordy Nelson has become the forgotten man. 81 receivers in the NFL have racked up more yards since week 7, but he and the Packers receivers haven't shown outbursts of selfish fury the way many diva receiving stars would have in a similar situation.
The whole prima donna and diva thing is definitely not something that'll help out a young quarterback. So you definitely, it's good that we don't have that in this place. And for one, they don't draft guys like that. I mean, you kind of look around this locker room and date back to 20 years ago. I feel like the Packer way is what you adapt or what you adopt when you come here. And I think everybody kind of buys into that, and you kind of learn the way and you see how people handle their business.
And while we're on the topic, we are happy to announce our guest for next week's edition of Pack Attack. Wide receiver Geronimo Allison will join host Brandon Kinnard and our analyst Johnny Gray. That will tape on Monday, November 27th at 6:30 p.m. and air Tuesday night right here on your official Packer station. Vegas has tabbed the Badgers as 17-point favorites on Saturday against Minnesota, and virtually every metric and historical tendency indicates Wisconsin should have little trouble with the Gophers. Minnesota is just 5-6 on the season. They've won just 2 games in conference play and were blanked by Northwestern 39-0 just a week ago. Wisconsin has won 13 straight against the Gophers, and since 2009, Minnesota hasn't been able to get it within single digits. Still, UW is approaching this game with caution. Not only is it a rivalry, but the Gophers are desperate for a win to become bowl eligible.
I don't know about desperate, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a big game for them. 5 games, and they need a 6 for a bowl game, so they're going to be putting it all on the line. And I expect to see everything. They're going to empty out their playbook, I'd assume, so it'll be a great matchup.
Whenever we play Minnesota every year, they give us their best shot, and it's always a fun physical game. So I would never call them desperate. They're, in my opinion, one of the most fun teams to play against just because of that whole rivalry and everything like that.
It's hard to imagine the Minnesota offense doing a whole lot of damage against Wisconsin's defense, but you can catch our broadcast of that game Saturday at 2:30 right here on Newsline 9.
I really appreciated your analogy with Hundley and Thanksgiving. That was nice.
But the Badgers are really going to need some things to go right for them. They're going to need Alabama to possibly lose, Miami to possibly lose, which is not looking so good, and Clemson.
But as long as you're in it, that's all that matters at the end
true.
of the day. So it's a lot.
Final Four pushing for them.
Yeah, let's hope they devour them up like a main course. I'm not as good as Alexa.
Boom.
All right, guys, Mike's in next. The final check on the weather.